The roar of motorcycles shattered the Sunday morning calm. Black tires screeched across the cobblestone street outside Bridget Church, their engines growling like beasts prowling sacred ground. 7 bikes, 7 men in leather and metal, tattoos creeping up their necks like ivy. They parked haphazardly, cutting off the front steps of the church. A few puffed on cigarettes, one swigged from a flask. Laughter erupted from their circle, mocking, loud, irreverent. A pair of elderly hands paused mid-sermon, gripping the altar tighter. Inside the church, the congregation sat frozen in place, glancing nervously at the stained glass windows, where distorted shadows danced in the morning light. Mothers clutched their children. An old man gripped his cane like a weapon, and then he moved. Father Callahan, 74 years old, stepped down from the pulpit. His steps echoed. The silence in the room was thick with tension. He reached the vestry, unbuttoned his collar, and removed it slowly, with care, as if laying down a crown before battle. Then he rolled up his sleeves. His arms, though weathered with age, bore the wiry strength of a man who had lived through storms, both spiritual and physical. "Where are you going, Father?" whispered Sister Helen, trembling. "Out front," he said simply. "They're blocking God's door." Outside, the gang was just getting louder. "Hey, Padre!" shouted Rex, the one with a spiked mohawk and a crow tattoo on his temple. "Want to bless our bikes?" The others howled. Tank, the largest of them, spat on the church steps. Callahan walked forward without a word. No fear, no hesitation. His footsteps echoed off the stone walls like thunder. "You lost, Grandpa?" sneered Nails, flicking ash toward his feet. Callahan stopped at the bottom step. His voice, when it came, was calm. Low. Dangerous. "You've got 3 seconds to move those bikes." They laughed again. I said 3. 1 heartbeat. 2. 3. Callahan's right hand moved like lightning. A sharp crack echoed as his walking stick, a relic carved from you, swept under Rex's foot and yanked hard. The biker hit the ground hard, air knocked from his lungs. Before the others could react, Callahan turned and struck Nails across the wrist, sending his cigarette flying. Whoa, what the hell? Crack. Tank stepped forward, fists the size of sledgehammers. Callahan pivoted, used his weight, ducked under the swing and slammed the butt of his cane into Tank's solar plexus. The giant staggered back, gasping. The laughter was gone now. Inside the church, the congregation gathered at the windows, eyes wide. A young altar boy whispered, "He's like a holy ninja." Back outside, the gang encircled him. "You've made a mistake, old man," growled Bear, reaching for a chain on his belt. Callahan's eyes narrowed. "I made plenty. Vietnam was full of them. That name stopped them. Vietnam, he wasn't bluffing." "You're one of those old killers hiding in a collar," Bear muttered. Callahan didn't deny it. Instead, he looked at them, deep, cold, unblinking. "I came to this church to bury the man I used to be. You're calling him out." And then it got worse. One of the gang, Trigger, stepped toward the church and shouted, "Let's see how faithful they are when the building burns." He struck a match. Callahan's eyes snapped to the flame, and that's when everything exploded into motion. The cane flew from his hand like a javelin, knocking the match from Trigger's fingers. In the same motion, Callahan lunged forward, grabbed him by the vest, and threw him down the steps. The young man hit the ground, groaning. "You want to burn something?" Callahan growled. "Start with your pride." But even as the gang retreated, limping and stunned, something changed. From the church door stepped a frail woman, gray-haired, wrinkled. She walked between the bikers with shaking knees and stood beside Callahan. "I baptized you, Thomas," she said to Rex. "You were 5. You cried because the water was cold." Rex froze. More voices followed. Parishioners, one by one, stepping outside. An old man with Parkinson's pointed at Tank. "I knew your mother. She used to sing in the choir." A young girl held up a photo of her father with Bear. "You were friends once, before the gangs, before the jail time." The gang stood speechless, surrounded by ghosts of their own pasts. Callahan turned to them, not with anger now, but something heavier, sadder. "You're not the enemy, just lost boys trying to be loud enough to drown out the silence inside." He walked past them, no longer needing his cane. It rested against the steps, forgotten. "You can come in," he said quietly, "or ride off and keep running." One by one, the gang backed away, but not all of them. Rex knelt on the step, not saying a word. Inside, the choir began to sing. That night, the church stayed open late. 7 motorcycles remained parked outside, not as threats, but as testaments. Inside, Father Callahan stood at the altar again. He placed his collar back on. His hands were bruised, but steady. And behind him, in the back pew, a biker with a crow tattoo bowed his head.